knew something was going wrong all these years, but I lost the macro. I didn't get the bigger picture of it. So this is emergency broadcast number 3, is be careful for those who are not paying attention. In other words, we're about to go into what's called the Wiley Coyote moment. Everybody's running along and says, oh, don't worry, the Fed's got my back, the economy is fine. I love this guy Biden, and America's the greatest, the economy is safe. And when people crash, when this thing crashes, and it's coming soon, it's the people that are not prepared, the people who are not watching this, haven't watched number 2 or number 1, are the ones you're going to have to be very, very afraid of, those who are sound asleep at this moment. Because when they wake up, they're going to wonder, what happened? I went to flight school, to fly these things in Vietnam, and they wanted to prepare us for the worst. So how did they prepare you for the worst? Well, they make it the worst. So what they did is they take us out into the Gulf of Mexico, off of Pensacola Beach. They simulate a parachute crashing into the ocean, so it's freezing weather. I think the temperature was -3 degrees or something. We hang out the back, we drop into the water, we got unhooked, then we paddle ashore, our little rubber ducks, there's like 7 of us in a group, and we go ashore into the swamps of Florida, and our job is to survive. So it's a simulate crashing in Vietnam or the jungles, and then we had to figure out how to survive. So everything is like a little Boy Scout camp. The first day, everybody's happy, we're chugging along. This is easy. Day 2 gets a little bit more serious. Then day 3, we're hungry to turn into animals. We went primal. I was ready to kill the guy next to me. We're starving to death. We're hungry. These guys are chasing us with guns, blanks, of course. But we're running. I'm eating palmetto. Just ripping palms apart, trying to get a little piece of nourishment, starving to death. We finally shot a raccoon, and there was 7 men, 25-year-old men, and 1 little raccoon. And pretty soon we were growling. We were just like a bunch of wolves. And the side of me came out of me that terrified me. It's what happens when you go primal after day 3. What happens when your neighbor goes primal? Also, Fed chairman at one time saying that the FDIC, Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, and the Federal Reserve Bank will determine which banks live or die. That they control the whole economy. It's run by the academic elite, and you and I are screwed. America has been violating all of these laws of money for all these years, and the world says we've had enough of this. So they're joining the BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. 70% of the world's population that used to use the dollar are going to take this and say, we don't want it anymore. And so there's going to be quadrillions of dollars coming back. And the ramifications of that are possibly, and I hope it doesn't happen, but it's called hyperinflation. That this thing goes to trash. This becomes toilet paper, this little dollar, because there's so much of it out there. And when 70% of the world's population says, we're not going to use this anymore, aloha, what does that mean to the world? It's the Wiley Coyote moment, but what about the person who's fat, dumb, and happy and thinks, oh, don't worry, the Fed's got our back, the economy is the best, we'll be fine, you guys are just, you're chicken little, saying the sky is falling, it's not falling, it's going to be fine. What happens when your neighbor comes knocking on your door because their kids are starving? You think they're going to be wanting your food too and your money? And that's why I told the story of the U.S. Marine Corps and the U.S. Navy throwing us out in the woods. There were 7 men, 25-year-old men. You know how much we can eat at 25. And this little raccoon was smaller than a chicken. And I could hear myself growling. I want that piece. You can't have that piece. And then there was another group of 7 men came. They said, you can't, no, leave us alone. So there was another group coming in. And so they were so desperate, this other group of 7, we sold them the bones. I still remember that. I thought, that's a pretty good deal. We got $20 for these bones here. They were chewing away on it, point is, we're only 3 days away from primal. In 1971, Nixon took this off the gold standard. They had to back it up with something. So 74, Nixon and his protege Kissinger, they went to Saudi Arabia, says, if you make this the petrodollar. So they went from a gold dollar to a petrodollar. And so they gave the dollar immense power throughout the world because everybody had to take this stuff here. And so what happened when China enters the scene and all this stuff is going on, and then also what happened was when Biden went to Saudi Arabia, they didn't even talk to him. Why would they talk to him? He's a woke guy. He says, we're going to put oil out of business. The guy ahead of China, he gets a royal welcome because he's going to buy oil from Saudi Arabia. And it was Biden who cut down the Keystone XL pipeline that sent oil from $30 a barrel to $130 a barrel, which destroys the middle class because they can't afford, they got to choose between putting gas in the car or eating. I was in Zimbabwe, and we fly helicopters out there to go hunting. And this guy says, that's a Chinese compound there. And there was like this college campus filled with Chinese people building infrastructure, but they were putting in fiber optic cable for the country. They're doing all the things that makes a country richer, but they're countries with resources. Do you know what I mean? With stuff that the Chinese want to use. So we send our cheap-ass dollars, these things here. We buy their gold, silver, oil, copper. We pay them with fake money, but the Chinese go there and actually make their economy stronger via infrastructure. And I've seen these large campuses of Chinese people. So when you see it, you go, what the hell is the U.S. doing? They're not stealing the country's wealth with fake money. When they spell quantitative easing, that's called counterfeiting money. And you could steal a nation's wealth. You could go to the Congo and take out all the stuff, the diamonds, the oil. You could go to oil-producing countries, steal their wealth with fake money. To be perfect for disclosure, I do buy from Andy Schectman. I make no commissions. I am a consumer. I like the education I get along with the products I buy. So this here is a silver coin. This is about $35 today. I mean, everybody in the world can afford $35, but they'd rather hang on to this toilet paper here. And this is a gold coin. And I think this is the biggest bargain of all, is this silver, because silver is consumed in everything. In all the solar panels, these are Tomahawk missile, got 30 pounds of silver in it, it goes boom in the desert. Electronic vehicles are going to burn this stuff here. And everybody can afford $30. But will they do it? No. For the U.S. to be the world's money reserve currency in 1944, they had to print extra of this. So the whole world had this in their banks all over the world. They have more of this stuff than any other product in history. This is toilet paper. And what that guy was saying from Kenya is when this stuff starts coming back in, it's just not how much they rented. It's how much they've had in storage, because they had to be able to buy oil in this stuff here. So what's going to come back is a tidal wave of this toilet paper upon America and this little $35 coin here. And it's really tough to get people to say, no, I'd rather have toilet paper. It makes no sense to me. I needed some silver. He says, I'm out. I can't supply you. I'm going, wait a minute, the clock is ticking here. The price is moving and he can't supply. And so that's why I started searching around. And that's when I met Andy. I went, okay, this is it. He can supply. And you've never had a complaint, have you, all these 30-something years? We had Credit Suisse go down, and that's a bond failure. But Deutsche Bank is a derivatives failure. Now people go, what the bond and a derivative? So what happened since 2008, they've been dropping interest rates. And then when they raised interest rates, the bonds started to explode because you have a bond that's paying 2%, and now a bond is paying 8%. The 2% bond collapses, the bank collapses. So that's where the runs of the bank come from. But Deutsche Bank is derivative failure. And derivatives are what Warren Buffett calls weapons of mass financial destruction. And the derivatives market is $1 quadrillion. So we're not speaking about trillions anymore. We're speaking about quadrillions. And a quadrillion is 1,000 trillion. So when these things start to explode, and they don't want them anymore because the BRICS was going to take this down, you're going to wish you had some more of these $35 silvers, because this is still real money. This here is 1964, a Kennedy $50. It's still pure silver. It's worth $10 today. I'm concerned about the people who have no idea, and they don't care because they hope America will shine again, or the world's going to save us, and everything be happy days are here again.